I'll identify myself for those that don't know me. I'm the sheriff, Rick Albers, Clear Creek County. As you know, we had a fire start yesterday morning real early. We named it the Miner's Candle Fire, which most of you are well aware. Yesterday we had 45 firefighters on scene. Today we have 35 firefighters on scene. Right now, the reports that we're getting, it is 15 acres, okay? We have it 50% contained. There was no injury to any civilians or firefighters as of this date and time. We believe it started on a house fire, and then it spread to the east from there. With the winds that we had yesterday, they were gusting anywhere from 40 to 60 miles an hour yesterday. And then today we're about 30 to 40 miles an hour, okay? Today it's a little bit colder than it was yesterday, but it's looking real good. We lost 2 structures yesterday, and we're thinking about 4 outbuildings, but we're doing an assessment and an investigation on that today. So maybe later on in a press release, I can release what we know of the damage to buildings and structures. Let me see. Hopefully, we are shooting for Assistant Chief Jeremy Jones is the command officer on scene today. We're hoping for tomorrow at 1800, I think it's 1700, is 100% containment. That means we have a line that's going all the way around the fire. Right now we got about 50% of it. We have, like I said, 35 crews up there today, or 35 people up there today doing more hand lines, doing some more digging, some more back burning, this type of stuff. The fire yesterday, Jeremy said it went up to the road that goes up in there, and that was what he was going to use as a fire block, and it did a really good job. It stopped most of it. There was a couple spots that went over, but they were up there this morning, and they got those under control, and it's not going to cross that road anymore. I am lifting all fire evacuation orders at 11 o'clock today, so y'all can go back home, make sure you're doing okay. If you have animals up there, I know there was some horses that were concerned. Those were taken care of last night, and that house that the horses are at was far enough away we didn't have to worry about those. But everybody can return home at 11 o'clock today. Just so everybody knows, pay attention to your code red calls just in case. I don't think it's going to happen, but just in case it does get away from us, be ready to get back out, okay? I'm 90% sure that it's not going to get away from us today, but there's always that 10% and everything. So be close to your phones for the next couple days. I will be sending out press releases. Look on Facebook, newspaper, whatever, to get those updates. I think that's about it for me. Is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I know it's probably too early to start this, but this is the second house fire on Miner's Candle in the last 2 years.
Uh-huh.
So what is the county and sheriff commissioners going to do about that area to try to stop that from happening again? Or what's it going to take before the county does something?
I know Commissioner Wheelock this morning, we had a little bit of a talk, maybe looking into our code enforcement on some of these houses, you know, the cars around the houses, maybe a junk ordinance or something like that. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's, you know, how government operates. It's going to be a while till we can get new laws, check out what's out there established now, and maybe adopt some of those. Okay? So we are in the process. We're thinking about it. It's in our mind. And with this recent activity, I'm pretty sure the commissioners and I will take some action on it. Okay?
Thanks.
Yes?
You mentioned code red, listening to our phones. Was there a evacuation notice put out yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday morning?
Yes.
Reverse 911?
It's a code red, yes.
Okay. I personally didn't get it. Nobody that I've talked to that lives up there got one of those.
Didn't get it.
Okay, you have to register for code red. It's been on our Facebook, it's on the county's website. You have to register. We did purchase another notification system that is called HyperReach. Right now, we just got it like 6 months ago. You still have to register to do that, but your home phones are already registered in there. So if you have a home phone, a lot of people don't have home phones anymore because they have cell phones. If you have a cell phone, you need to go on the county website and register with the code red. And it's right there on the front page. Okay? Yes?
Has it been established which room, sorry, we're masked or not masked?
That's okay.
Has it been established which houses have been burned?
We know which houses have burned, but like I said, we're doing more assessment as we talk right now. We're doing investigations on how those houses started, that one house started, and see what the cause was.
Yeah, we definitely want to know that.
Yeah.
So are you able to tell us which houses, the address, or the owner's
I
name or
cannot.
anything?
I cannot right now. Not right off the top of my head.
Are we able to say the two houses, are they burned completely to the ground?
Yes.
Both houses completely burned to the ground?
Yes.
Okay. Now, am I allowed to know what it was like when the fire department showed up? What the status of the houses were at that moment?
Jeremy Jones, Chief Jones might be able to answer that. Jeremy?
Were you there, Jeremy?
Yeah, so the first house was complete. We know the first house caught fire sometime between probably 4 and 5 in the morning.
Okay.
The first 911 call was at 6:20.
Okay.
That house was already basically to the foundation at the time of the call. It was called in as a possible campfire by a resident on Mill Creek who woke up and just saw the glow. So that's about as much as I can tell you at this point. We're still working on the investigation to figure out what started the first house and subsequent how it spread from there.
So the first house, was that the house that was like, did it have 2 stories?
I couldn't tell you what it looked like pre-fire.
So when you guys got there, it was down to the ground?
It was a foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a foundation.
And
It was all
then,
left.
the second house, was that on fire yet?
That house was actively on fire. Yes, the outbuildings were all on fire, and the house itself was on fire.
So the second house was on fire when you guys got there?
Yes.
Okay. So that house, was it just not defendable by the time you guys got there, the second one?
Not defendable at that stage.
So
No.
someone was in there while the house was on fire?
What's that?
Someone was in there while the house was on fire?
The resident was evacuating.
Okay, but was their house on fire when they were evacuated? Like,
Yes.
you didn't know the house was on fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know why the call did not come in until 2 hours after the fire started?
I don't. I just know the first call to dispatch was from a resident on Mill Creek looking across the valley. So,
So the resident of the home that caught fire did not call in?
no, sir. We had one 911 call. It was called in as a campfire from across the valley and identified as a structure fire by my first crew from
So
that
you were
location.
there, sorry.
No good.
You were there personally?
I was there after, not with the first cruise. I was in the second cruise.
You were second crew?
Yep.
Okay.
So down to 15 acres, did you ever reach 20, do you know, Sheriff?
We were estimating
15, 20
yesterday, and it's hard to estimate fires when the wind's blowing that fast and the smoke. We were estimating yesterday that it was 20. We had the MMA, multi-mission aircraft, fly over, and they estimated it to be at, what 15? 15 acres. So it was close.
And speaking of aircraft, are they out in the picture today, and will all the work be done on the ground?
Today, there'll be no aircraft, not unless it jumps lines or something starts spreading. Like I said, we have the Juniper Valley crew up there, and that's a 20-man hand crew, and they know how to fight fires. They know how to dig line. And like I don't know if I said it or not, but you will see smoke. You might see flames over the next 24 hours until tomorrow or even further. But what you do is you circle the fire, and then you worry about it getting out of that circle, and the stuff inside of it, they're still going to burn. There's going to be stumps. There's going to be grasses. There's going to be bushes that still might flare up within that circle. But it's contained. It's not going to go out. Okay?
How many structures were burned altogether?
2 that we know of.
Just the 2?
And
so,
4 outbuildings, 3 to 4 outbuildings. Like I said, we're doing the assessment today
Right, okay.
on what it went through and stuff, so
Okay.
we'll have a better assessment later this afternoon,
Okay, so it's just those two houses, no other houses were burned?
as far as we know.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else, any of the citizens have anything to want to ask or anything? Like I said, there's only two houses. You all know probably which ones they are. Everything else is really good. And so at 11 o'clock, we'll let you back up there, which is an hour and a half. That way I can get my officers and stuff, knowledge and stuff like this to go. One other thing I want to say is a lot of like your businesses in town donated to the fire departments and stuff like this yesterday. Kudos to them. They stepped up. Safeway, Bojo's, all these people just stepped up, fed the fire department guys. So, you know, kudos to them. You know, people going, ooh, jail food, but the jail even stepped up, made some lunches for people, you know, and it was good. When you're fighting a fire, sandwiches are good anywhere you can get them. So,
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Are you asking for any volunteers that can work side by firemen to dig and put some of the embers out to assist in containing that fire more?
no, I really have a hard time putting citizens on a fire line if they haven't any training or the
Right.
equipment and stuff. It's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
So I don't do that. Okay.
I personally know the people whose houses I think burned down.
Uh-huh.
As far as I know, the second house was not on fire when the fire department came and knocked on his window. I really appreciate them saving him.
Yep.
I really appreciate it. So maybe talk to the citizen or whatever just to get all the facts.
Yeah.
I know this is an emergency situation. It's hard to get all the information.
Yeah, you know, the way the wind was blowing and stuff.
Oh, it's
You know,
terrible.
the firefighters have to look out for their safety
Oh,
too.
absolutely. And then also, is it being considered that these people's home were arson 30 years ago as well? This might be arson again?
Like I said,
The same people?
it's under investigation,
I
and
understand.
that's all I can say right now.
Well,
Okay.
they've been targeted
Yeah.
before on other things as well, so I'd like to be very well investigated.
Yeah.
please.
Oh, we will.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Any other statements that people want to make or anything?
Great job.
Thank you. It's all these guys, it's not me. But thank you all. And go home at 11:30.
11 or 11?
Or 11, sorry. Yep. All right, thanks. Thank you.
All right, man. Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Good luck up there today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.